Here is why you should work regional in Australia. So regional, remote work, farm work, any of that kind of thing is definitely a fantastic option for working in Australia. Today I'm going to share my experience of doing remote work and some reasons why you guys should do it, and also some reasons why, yeah, we're probably going to go back and do some more remote work in the future. It can be a great option for people on working holiday visas, a great way to save money, which we'll come on to, and just get an amazing experience out of your visa. So I lived in Australia for 2 years. When I actually lived in Australia, you had to do 3 months of farm work in order to extend and do your second year visa, which is exactly what I did. I was so keen to stay in Australia for a second year. So I did my 3 months of 88 days farm work. It actually took about 4 months in the end. So I did my farm work at a place called Bundaberg in Queensland. And let me tell you, I've lived abroad for about 3 years now, and that is one of my best experiences from my whole time living abroad. Honestly, it was incredible. So many amazing things came from it. We met so many other backpackers and travelers. I actually met my girlfriend there, and me and my girlfriend have literally traveled since. Since then, we've been home and met each other's families and stuff. We literally met on the farm. We were staying at some little shitty motel on the beachfront, and we were going to the farm with each other each day. That's where we met. Farm work wasn't something that particularly interested me, but honestly, like I said, after going, I'm so glad I did it, and I would honestly do anything to have that experience again because it was so memorable, and yeah, just one of the best experiences ever. So I did 88 days on multiple farms. I picked tomatoes, I did chilies, I worked in a factory. That, by the way, this factory was the worst job I've ever done. I used to stand there on like a conveyor belt, just closing lids of boxes and just removing the shit bits of like cucumber. Like the most mind-numbing job I've ever done. Luckily, I left that job after about 4 or 5 weeks, went to the tomato farm. I did blueberry pruning on like blueberry trees, actually got fired from that farm. And yeah, just did a load of just farm jobs, but honestly, the best experience ever. We stayed in a motel at the start and then moved into a share house where they'd sort the work for us, and we basically pay for a minivan to come and take us to the farms each day. Pretty much we'd work Monday to Friday, have the weekends off, and we'd just be in this little remote, or sort of remote, Bundaberg's fairly big. We felt so free being there because it didn't really feel like work, which I'll come on to. So that was my farm work experience. I did 4 months there, and yeah, it was the best experience, and I would recommend anyone who's looking for farm work, go to Bundaberg because there's so many farming opportunities, and yeah, so many jobs, and also so many other travelers. There's lots of hostels there. I don't know if as many people do farm work now because they've changed the visa rules, so English people don't actually have to do it to extend their visa, but some people choose to do it, and also if you're not from the UK, then you might still have to do it. So Bundaberg is a great option. Now I'm going to go on to some reasons why you should definitely try and do remote work, and yeah, it might be the best option for you for working in Australia, particularly, yeah, just for a few months it can be a great option. Let's go on to some reasons why. Number one is usually remote places are looking for workers all the time, particularly because everyone in Australia goes to the main cities. They go to Sydney and they go to Melbourne. If you try and find a job in the city, there's so much competition. It can be very, very difficult to find a job. However, in a lot of the remote locations, whether it's farm work, whether it's remote hospitality, or any kind of, yeah, regional remote jobs, a lot of the time they're crying out for workers because like no one goes out there, no one goes remote. Especially if you're doing like hospitality in the outback or something, like not many backpackers go there, so the competition for jobs is not high at all, and it's, you know what I mean, you can sometimes get paid a really good wage because they're really desperate for staff. It's a lot easier. Sometimes you can actually get work lined up before you even go there. That's how much they need workers, particularly the farm stuff. Australia is one of the biggest farming countries, I think, so for certain vegetables and stuff and fruit, so they are always looking for workers. So that's the first point, is a lot of the remote locations depending on what the job is, but a lot of the time they're crying out for workers because most people go to the cities. Number two, another reason why it's a great option is a lot of the time accommodation is included, or you just get very cheap accommodation with it, or even sometimes the job and the accommodation will be in one package, and basically they just take the accommodation out of your paycheck so you don't even see that that money's gone. And it's a great way to save money because, yeah, especially if you're getting free accommodation. But when we did farm work, our rent was very cheap. Like, that's the cheapest rent I've ever paid, is when we were doing farm work. At the motel, I'm pretty sure I was paying about just over $100 a week. Same with the house, but you can get it even cheaper than that. Some places are free, like included with the job. Some places are very cheap, but a lot of the time, the accommodation comes with the job, which saves you looking for a house and also lets you save so much more money, because in the city you're going to be spending $200-300 a week at least on rent. Number three is that you save more money because there is less distraction. In the city you got activities, you've got, well, like I said, rent, you've got nightlife, you've got events, you've got things going on, so you're spending your money a lot. Compared to if you're living and working in a remote location, there's not that much to spend your money on. You might want to get a few drinks and go for some food, but in reality you're just going to be chilling on the beach, you're going to be relaxing in the nature, exploring the area. There's not much to do at all, which is actually one of the best things about it, because you just kind of feel like you're living like you should be in the middle of nowhere in nature. It's a great way to live, but also you save so much more money because you haven't got a lot of stuff to spend your money on like you do in the cities. Number four is going back to my experience, and that it is a unique experience and you're going to make some amazing memories. Honestly, I've worked in so many different places in Australia, but there was nothing I enjoyed more than farm work, because it didn't really feel like work. When you're in the city working, you feel like you're a proper part of the rat race. You're part of the 9-to-5 cycle, stuck in the system. But when you're working on the farm, for example, I was still getting a good wage. I was getting like $26 an hour, but it hardly felt like work. It didn't feel like, you know, you were going to a job. It just felt part of this overall experience, which was amazing. And like I said, after like 3 years abroad, it's one of the best experiences I did. So if you're looking for a unique experience, I would definitely recommend regional work, because yeah, you're gonna make some memories that you're gonna have forever. And it's such a unique experience, which realistically, you're probably not gonna get again. Do you know what I mean? How often do you go and just work in the middle of nowhere? Like, it's rare. And number five, another great reason why you should do regional remote work is for meeting other travelers. For me, doing farm work, we probably met more people at farm work than we did anywhere else. It's such a good way to meet other travelers. Yeah, you're going to work with them. Sometimes you're living in the same accommodation. After work, you might be chilling out. You might be having like a campfire, I don't know, drinking, doing stuff like that in the evenings. And because you're all in this kind of unique experience, it brings you a lot closer, and also you're on the same kind of journey. I found that we met a lot more similar people at farm work than we did living in the city, for example, because in the city you've got all your corporate people and stuff which you don't really align with. But when you're working with other travelers who are on the exact same journey as you, it's a great way to meet people. So, you know, we met a lot of people at farm work, and you guys will definitely do the same if you do any kind of remote work. So yeah, remote work can include any kind of farm work, remote hospitality in the outback, on a remote beach somewhere in the north of Australia, for example. You can also work at resorts on like islands. That's something which we are definitely looking to do in Australia, work on like a resort on an island, because it just looks amazing. And I highly recommend you do it. It's a great option for anyone on a working holiday visa to actually experience. I wouldn't recommend doing it for your whole visa, because there's a lot of Australia to see and a lot to do. And also in a remote location, like, it can get boring after like months and months. But for example, 3, 4, 5 months, I would definitely recommend you do it, because yeah, I'm so glad I did. So thank you for watching. There were some reasons why you should do regional work in Australia. I highly recommend it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon with another video.